Okay, so we've imported the mass that we created in SketchUp, and then we've imported that mass here into Revit. So just remembering orbiting around is hold your shift key and middle wheel down, and panning is just middle wheel, hold down and pan across. So we've brought the mass into SketchUp, but it's been brought in as a very special piece. It's been brought in as a mass, not just inserted as a normal CAD file. It was part of, as before we inserted it here on the insert toolbar, we went to the massing and site and we created an in-place mass first. That makes it a very special type of category to Revit. It's special in this way. If I go to the massing and site toolbar, and I'll get you all to go to a 3D view. Now the quickest way to go to your 3D view is to hit this little house up the top here, and that'll open up 3D. Click on the massing and site menu, click show mass, so it's depressed. If you then don't see the image of the model on the screen, click in the middle of the screen somewhere and then type ZE for zoom extents, and that'll make sure you can view it on the screen at any time then. Now when you've got that on the screen there, just see what happens when you now turn off show mass. It disappears. Turn show mass back on and it shows up like that. Now why we'll use that is that this actually isn't, this mass here isn't a Revit component as such. It is just a mass that you can turn off and turn back on. Now we're going to use that mass to, if you like, trace over in 3D. So we're going to do some three-dimensional tracing of this mass, and we're going to trace off proper Revit walls. So I'll get you to go to the Model by Face. We're on the Massing and Site tab, and then we click Model by Face, and drop down and Model by Face a wall. Now there are some wall types that I've already made up for you and included in this template file. And this is the type selector up here. You click on this arrow here and it'll drop down to the different types that I've already created. And in the template file I've created a 70 wall and a 190 block wall. The 70 wall will be the one that we're going to use here. So change the type selector here to the 70 wall, and then come and click, now hover and see which face I'm highlighting there on the screen. So come across one edge of the wall, so any edge, well, that one there does the job best, and click on, I'm going to click on that wall as a demonstration at this point. Now I'm just going to escape out of that command, so hit the escape key probably a number of times, and then I'm going to click the show mass off. So you can see what I've done then is it leaves behind a real Revit entity of the shape of that wall. Turn that show mass back on, and what I want you to do then is trace off the rest using Model by Face, Wall. You can check that this wall type is correct, and then you're going to go around the rest of the building and select all the other faces. Now sometimes you won't be able to select the face that you're after. What you'll have to do, for instance, if I hover over here and select this edge here, has got shares two faces. It shares this face here as well as that one that I'm being highlighted now. In Revit, whenever you're hovering over one thing that could be another, if you press and release the tab key and press and release the tab key again, it scrolls through the different options that you've got for the different commands. So I'm just going to click around there. Now I'll show you what I'm trying to do here. I'm going to hold that one there at the moment. And I'm just going to show you what, as I'm doing it, I'll even get in and do this one in here, and then orbit around to do that one at the back, and then orbit around and do that one. They're the ones I'm going to show you. Now I'm going to go back and turn show mass off, so go back to the massing and site tab and click show mass, and you can see then what I've created. So I've clicked on all these faces so far. I want you to go around now and click on all of the other faces that make up the walls. So the sequence is show mass, model by face, wall, and away you go. I'll just pause the video at this stage. Okay, so here's when I've gone around now. I've turned show mass off. I'll just click show mass back on again, turn show mass off. So I've moved around and I think I've selected all of the walls to make up that mass. I'm going to do a similar thing now. I'm going to go model by face. Sorry, I'll turn show mass on first, so I've got my mass there, and I'll model by face roof. Now, the type of roof that I want you to use there is not there at the moment. We're going to make a new type of roof. So follow me through this stage. The only one sort of roof I've got there is just a thin sheet of custom orb. So what I want you to do is I want you to click on the element, the top half of this element properties button here. So click on the top half of it, and that'll open up the instance property for that roof. Now, this custom orb roof, I want to make another one up. Now, this is how you make up another one. Click on Edit Types to start with, and that'll start editing the type of this roof. But then click Duplicate to make a whole new type of roof. So we're going to click Duplicate, and I'm going to call this a 145 roof. So I'm just going to make up some simple 145mm thick roof. Now click on Edit the Structure here, and simply under Edit Structure, I'm going to change the thickness to 145, and the material, I'm just going to set it back to default. So I'll just show you how I did that again. Click into the material where it says Custom Orb at the moment, and then click on the little 3 button. There's a little button with 3 dots on it. Click on that little button there, and this will open up your material selector. And I want you to select it back to default. I'm trying to create a model here that's got no particular materials. So we'll click on Default and click OK. So this is making up a roof that's got a thickness of default material 145mm thick. So we click OK to that, we click OK to that, we click OK again, and then I'm going to select the different parts of the roof that make up this final roof face, or the final roof faces. Now be very careful to select the top roof surfaces. See what I mean here? Not that one, this one here. So I'm going to select that one. Now it's a little bit different than our last wall command because that's not a roof yet. It's waiting to see all the different faces that make up this roof part, and there's the other piece. So just zoom in so you can see which face I'm getting, that one. Now when you think you've got all of the faces that make up that part of the roof that you want to finish, you then go up here to Create Roof. So I'm going to click on Create Roof there. Click on Create Roof. Okay, I think it's all done. I'll escape out of that and I'll uncheck Show Mass, and there we go. So we've got, I'm just going to delete one of those and see if I've done it twice. No, I didn't. Okay, so there we go. We've got some real Revit walls and a real Revit roof. And if I just turn Show Mass back on, you can see the real mass there, but if I uncheck Show Mass, you can see the items that we've got left there. So I'm just going to pause the video at this stage and let you catch up to that point.